All right, good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Myers. I'm the statewide disaster recovery coordinator at the New Mexico Economic Development Department. You have tuned into our weekly live stream of our weekly resource wrap up. Our goal is to update you on any recovery, community, and upcoming events under 15 minutes. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So we'll go ahead and get started. I have a special guest this week. Her name is Alyssa Renwick. She's the project manager for Outdoor Rec, and Alyssa will be discussing the Outdoor Rec Trails Plus grants that just opened on March 1st. So with that, Alyssa, I'll transition it over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer, and thank you for this opportunity to get word out about our Outdoor Recreation Trails Plus grant. I'm just going to give a super quick high-level overview of the grant, which, like Jennifer mentioned, just opened on March 1st for applications, and applications will be accepted on a rolling basis throughout the rest of the year. And we do encourage folks to apply early, though, to guarantee that funding is still there. And so this grant funds shovel-ready outdoor infrastructure projects. So that can be anything from trail projects to shade structures at parks or for outdoor learning to boat launches, anything and everything. It's pretty broad and vague, but it does need to be shovel-ready, which means it can be completed within 24 months of applying. So we did get just recently an increase in funding for this, some federal stimulus funding and to the tune of $7 million. So with that, we did make a few changes. And this year, that means that there are 2 tiers you can choose from to apply for. So the first tier, tier 1, is aimed at local level, kind of smaller level projects at a true local level. And those award amounts range from $25,000 to basically up to $100,000, $99,999. And then there's a second tier that will fund projects with a regional scope, regional impact. So reaching a little more than just a local level. It will include, a few communities that are impacted and will benefit from this project. And that has a greater award range, and that's from $100,000 to $500,000. There are some additional requirements around that, obviously with the increase in the award range. So just as a heads up there will be a little more once you apply for that as well to come. And eligible applicants are tribes, pueblos, nations, municipalities, counties, nonprofits, public schools and districts, colleges, soil and water conservation districts, kind of anyone and everyone you can think of except for private businesses. And the only change with tier 2, all those same entities are eligible with the exception of nonprofits. So that's the only difference there. Nonprofits aren't allowed to apply for tier 2, just with that increase in award range, sticking to more municipalities, tribes, pueblos, those groups. And yeah, that's super high level, quick overview. Like I said, applications are open now. They will be accepted on a rolling basis. There will be a kind of initial review this late spring, early summer. So, apply, like we said, early on now if you want to kind of get in that first round. And then there will be towards the end of summer, early fall, another review. So there'll be a couple reviews throughout the year. But go ahead, like I said, apply early. And I think Jennifer, if she hasn't already, was going to provide our website. It's nmoutside.com. You can find the full grant guide there. And you can also find a link in the Contact Us tab at the top of our website to sign up for our newsletter, which is the best place to keep up with anything and everything revolving our grants, the timelines, any updates or changes, as well as links to some upcoming technical assistance question and answer sessions we're going to have for the Outdoor Recreation Trails Plus grant. And of course, you're welcome to shoot me an email anytime. Contact info is on the website and in the grant guide online if you have any. And Jennifer just provided it. Perfect. Any questions before that question and answer session comes up, or just super specific questions, more than welcome to email me. And I'll keep it at that. And thank you again to Jennifer.
No, thank you so much. I kind of put a lot of different stuff. So I did the guide, Alyssa's email address, as well as the contact us so she can sign up for the newsletter she just mentioned. Thank you so much, Alyssa. I really appreciate it. And yes, if you have any specific questions, contact her or just kind of peruse the guide for any kind of overview of the whole program that she discussed. So let me see if I can take that off. So I will go ahead and go on to our normal weekly resource wrap up. As every week, you can look at previous newsletters, pre-recordings of the wrap up, and also sign up for the wrap up if you have not. This is what the wrap up looks like in your email directly. We have a couple of recovery resources. I've mentioned several times Mexico Finance Authority has a small business recovery loan fund. It's a really great low interest, great term loan. This last legislative session, it was expanded and extended the deadline. So now the deadline is December 31st. So you still have time to apply for this program. So if you're a business that's struggling and you still need some help, financial assistance, it's a very attractive terms, as I mentioned. So feel free to click on here and you can sign up for that program. The other workforce training network program, it's a program to expand the public health capacity to support healthcare jobs, development, training, and placement in rural and tribal communities. So this can, for any communities that are affected by COVID-19 and are having, effects with the recovery of it, that deadline is March 18th. And I'm sorry, on the left-hand side, we have articles that may be applicable to you. We have some memorandum that responds to COVID-19 that you can click on. There's the philanthropic partnership article that you can read over. We have an article how each state can help utilize their ARPA funds. And then also you can read more about the governor's tax cut bill that she just signed. And if you want to know how New Mexico is doing as far as the country goes with recovery, you can click on this article and you can learn about how we're kind of stacking up to different states and how we're doing with the response to COVID, if it's unemployment, job creation, and so forth. So moving right along, we have our business resources that we mentioned last time. So we have the Comcast Rise and a couple of USDA programs. So go ahead and go to our highlight. So I'm hosting the New Mexico Recovery Series. The State Land Office is going to be on this next webinar. It's on March 17th at 10 a.m. They are going to be doing an overview of the State Land Office, how to leverage economic development and outdoor rec. There'll also be a section on solar and wind generation leases. So we have some heavy hitters on this panel. I'm very excited. We have Stephanie Garcia Richard, who's the Commissioner of Public Lands. We have Steve Barrick, who's Assistant Commissioner of Commercial Resources, and Craig Johnson, Director of Outdoor Rec. So if you would like to join us, click on here and register. If this time does not work for you, feel free to register and I will send you a copy of the recording. And if you register, you can also submit questions beforehand that may be able to address during the webinar. So feel free to click on there. It should be great. I'm looking forward to that webinar as well. And that's going to be this Thursday on St. Patrick's Day on the 17th. So as usual, we have several community resources. We have the New Mexico Environmental Workforce Job Training Program, which is a 5-week intense job training for graduates to prepare them for environmental jobs in that market. So it starts March 28th through April 29th and is specific to Northern New Mexico College in Española. So that deadline is March 23rd. We also have a USDA program. This project is to develop, coordinate, and expand local and regional food businesses. So that deadline is May 16th. It's the Local Food Promotion Program. We also have another USDA program. It's called Regional Food Systems Partnership. This partnership is to connect public and private resources to plan and develop local or regional food systems. This is to focus on building and strengthening local or regional food economy and resiliency within that market, and including pandemic responses and recovery. So those applications are due May 16th. We also have a tribal practice for wellness in Indian country. It's a 4-year cooperative agreement to improve physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health for the tribal communities. So that deadline is fast approaching. It's on March 16th, so it's this week. AARP has a community challenge, which provides grants to help communities become more livable. They've outlined a couple of different acceptable projects here. So you can kind of see if anything is of interest to you. But the innovative ideas have to support people that are age 50 or older, of course, because it's AARP. So that deadline is March 22nd. We also have the trail funds, which supports grants for trail maintenance, research, and stewardship training. And that's grants for up to $15,000, once again, for trail maintenance, research, and stewardship training as well. That deadline is April 15th. We have another USDA Rural Energy Pilot Program that offers financial assistance for rural communities to further develop renewable energy. There's a 20% match with that, and the letters of intent are due April 19th. We have a Deploy Solar and Wildlife Ecosystem. This opportunity provides solutions and strategies to minimize the adverse impacts of solar energy on wildlife and maximize the ecosystem benefit while enabling the rapid deployment of solar energy. So they're seeking projects right now, and that deadline is June 20th. We have a water and waste disposable grant. This provides low-income communities that face significant health risks accessing safe and reliable drinking water and waste disposal facilities and services. So these applications are accepted year-round. We have a community safety grant. This is to enhance capabilities of communities to prepare and respond to hazmat accidents and incidents, to support training and local enforcement in the transportation of hazmat. And so that is due April 14th. And lastly, we have the Farmers Market Promotion Program. This helps to develop, coordinate, and expand direct producer to commercial markets to help increase access to available local and regional produced agricultural products. So with that, it's due on May 16th. So those are all the new resources and the community resources. You can always look back at the ones that we talked about last week. And of course, in case you missed it, if there's something that you would like to look back to, all these different resources are categorized by our recovery resources, businesses, communities, and they're all active. Once the deadline has been passed, we will remove it from here. So if it's on here, then they're still active and you still have time. But there's lots of deadlines that are approaching. So with that, we'll go on to the upcoming webinars and events, which there are several. We have a lot of bipartisan infrastructure webinars to talk about the new legislation that's being passed. So you can kind of click on there and sign up for them. There's several of them. Also, it's International Women's Month. So there's a lot of different specific for women business owners and women in Trains in Mexico Women Trade Summit. We also have the Women's Business Summit. We have a forum opening for economic empowerment for business owners, for women business owners. So a lot of different, there's an FDIC listening session for the Albuquerque, New Mexico community. So a lot of different things. And if you want to just click on it, Her Story in the Making. So click on the applicable webinar and you can learn more about the program. And of course, we always have our ongoing, on-demand, and recently recorded webinars in these series. So with that, I think we're still under 15 minutes. So if you would like to learn more, you can click on our website. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So with that, I will let you have the rest of your lunch and you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much.